Good evening to all viewers of this Buddhist Heritage and Sanctuaries Series 2. I'm Brother Liew, your speaker this evening for Buddhist Hermitage Lunas and the legacy of Venerable Suwano Mahatero. Before I proceed, allow me to congratulate and thank Buddhist Jam Fellowship for inviting Buddhist Hermitage Lunas to join in this series. It is a noble idea, and it takes great effort for the administrators and facilitators to run such a program for all ardent Buddhists. It is good getting to know the Buddhist centers around us. I would also like to record my appreciation to Ms. Wong Su Tak, the Honorary Secretary, and Brother Lee Bing Han, Committee Member, for helping to prepare this video for this presentation. This presentation is divided into two parts, comprising part 1 on the founder of Buddhist Hermitage Lunas and part 2, which touches on the Buddhist Center. We begin with the story of the man who inspired the setting up of this meditation center in Lunas. He is Mr. Koo Eng Kim, who later renounced the life of a lay Buddhist to don the robes of a Theravada Buddhist monk. Born on 30th June 1920 in Lubuk Untar, he had an unfortunate childhood as his mom left his family when he was barely a month old as a result of his abusive father. Later, the family moved to Nibong Tebal in South Province Wellesley, and Eng Kim was under the care of a lady who ran a gambling house. Baby Eng Kim was neglected and a malnourished child. He was always hungry and helped himself with leftover food and bits of biscuits on the floor. As a young boy, he was forced to do various household chores. If he could not be found, he would be caned. He cried and cried, but no one could be bothered. He would cry until he fell asleep on the floor. Poor child. If a day passed without him being caned, he would secretly go to the altar of Tikong, Saka Dewa Raja, to thank the Deva for that fortunate day. The boy found solace in religions, firstly through Christianity and then the Dhamma. The photo shows Mr. Koo at age 30. The sufferings he endured as a child were the wretched nature of life. He wanted to seek the meaning of existence and found consolation in religions. He was majored for his age of 12 as he was more interested in samatha meditation. Introduced to him through a neighbor in Nibong Tebal, young Eng Kim also wrote to Ceylon, Sri Lanka Today to request for booklets on the Dhamma, and one of his earliest books he read was The Word of the Buddha. He shed tears when he read the line, "It is through not understanding, not realizing four things that I had to wander so long through rounds of rebirth." He felt that the words were directed at him. He continued reading books and was a very knowledgeable Buddhist. He harbored the thought of becoming a monk someday. Eng Kim was also an intelligent student. He was forced to excel academically or more beatings await him. He passed his senior Cambridge exam and was able to get a job as a medical assistant at the Kulim District Hospital at the age of 19. Eng Kim met and married Miss Janet Lim Wat Chuan in Kulim, and they were blessed with 3 daughters. He somehow lost his idea of renunciation. Steam emits from the head, he said. As a family man, he continued reading and meditating. In 1967, Mr. Koo met Venerable Prakru Dhamma Banjan Wood, the abbot of the Malaysian Buddhist Meditation Center, MBMC, Penang, who first taught him Vipassana meditation. Mr. Koo was a regular devotee of the Mahindarama Buddhist Temple and also a member of the Penang Buddhist Association. He attends Dhamma talks regularly. The 5 benefits of listening to the Dhamma according to the Dhamma Savana Sutta are: learn new things, learn new knowledge, clarify what one has learned, dispel one's doubt, discard wrong views, gladdens the mind. Mr. Koo was frequently invited to deliver Dhamma talks at various places. As his practice of the Dhamma deepened, he realized that his calling was to be a monk. After all, he had provided enough financial support for his wife to lead a comfortable life when he renounced the world. All his 3 daughters had also migrated to England and Canada. Thus, on 19 July 1980, he left home at 6:30 a.m. and headed to Wat Bukit Perak, Pendang, Kedah, to receive his novice ordination. Mr. Koo was given the name Atha Kamo, he who desires for the meaning. The Samanera subsequently traveled to Wat Mahathat, Bangkok, Thailand, for the higher ordination and was named Pra Achara Suwano, the monk with golden discipline. Through his personal experience, he found the instructions taught by the late Most Venerable Mahasi Sayadaw suited him. Upon his return from Myanmar, Venerable Suwano stayed at the MBMC Penang for a while before moving to Mithosi, a small temple at the foot of Penang Hill. Bhante was actively engaged in propagating the Dhamma and teaching meditation there. Bhante was also a regular Sunday speaker at the Penang Buddhist Association on Anson Road. As time passed, more and more devotees came to Mithosi Temple to provide dana and to learn the Dhamma. Later, in late 1980s, Venerable Buddha Rakita and Venerable Sayadaw U Agadama joined Venerable Suwano in Mithosi. Venerable Suwano also received invitations to visit the homes of devotees for house dana or funeral chanting. True to the spirit of renunciation, Bhante accepted whatever food that was offered and at times even ate stale rice and dishes. To the monks, their daily meals are regarded as medicines to cure hunger and not for pleasure. Venerable Suwano would spend his free time reading and learning the Dhamma and to prepare notes for his public talks. In the evening, Bhante do litter picking or to sweep the compound of the temple. This is a form of exercise for Buddhist monks. Venerable Suwano would go for solitary retreats at least once a year, lasting 2 to 3 months at various places in the country. This was the time Bhante could have a complete rest. Delivering Dhamma talks required much effort, and there were times Bhante would end up exhausted, hoarse, and even fell ill. During one of his retreats, Bhante visited the highly respected meditation teacher for guidance and inspirations. The photo shows Bhante with the renowned Venerable Sri U Min Sayadaw in Myanmar. Today, there are over 120 titles of his Dhamma talks, and some popular titles are The 31 Planes of Existence, The Discourses on Blessings and Downfall, It is Hard to be Reborn as a Human Being, or How to Control One's Temper. Venerable Suwano revived the practice of Pindacara or alms round in the northern region during the 1980s. Prior to that period, it was rare and strange to see a Buddhist monk in town seeking food from the public. See the difference between the two Pali words, Pindacara and Pindapata? Bhante was a well-known Dhamma speaker and was frequently invited to many Buddhist centers around the country. On many occasions, Bhante assisted the Most Venerable Dr. Kesri Dhammananda in Kuala Lumpur. He used to address himself as, "I'm only a baby mala, helping out the giants." That's what he said. When visiting the sick in a hospital, Bhante once mentioned that it is good to reflect on one's attitude and to be grateful to what life has to offer. Don't go only to the cinemas, go to the hospital too, Bhante said. Here, the photo shows Venerable Dr. Kesri Dhammananda with Venerable Suwano made a courtesy call to the Chief Minister of Sabah, YB Joseph Piring Kitingan, in Kota Kinabalu. Venerable Suwano said that Pindacara is also a form of training for a monk, training in humility, patience, and controlling anger, besides providing an opportunity for people to do wholesome deeds. Venerable Suvanno, with monks attending the Patimokkha chanting session on Opposata days, observed in accordance with the 4 lunar phases, the new moon, the full moon, and the 2 quarter moons in between. We have prepared 2 short videos on Venerable Suwano. Video 1, his daily routine. 3 to 4 a.m., Bhante rises and meditates. 6:30 a.m., breakfast, clears the compound of the temple, waters flower plants, and has his bath. At 10 a.m., Bhante meets devotees. 11 a.m., Bhante has his lunch dana. 12 noon, Dhamma talk, followed by a question and answer session. Bhante takes a nap and has his afternoon studies. 5:30 p.m., Bhante clears the compound of the temple, gardening, does odd jobs, takes his bath. 8:15 p.m., chanting, meditation. And at 9:30 p.m., it's bedtime for Bhante. When going for solitary alms round, Bhante would sometimes go to the housing estate instead of the marketplace, where it is much easier to obtain food from the people. It is just for self-training on checking one's anger or other emotions which may arise in the mind. Bhante used to go hungry in the early days when he did not receive any food, since the general public was still unfamiliar with the monks practicing Pindacara. Bhante was also criticized, scolded by the ignorance on seeing a monk in the early morning as a bad omen, and even beaten by dogs. To cure his hunger for the day, he just turned on the tap water for drinking and hoping that the following day would be better. Part 2. This second part comprises 7 chapters. Let's begin. Buddhist Hermitage Lunas is located in Kampong Seberang Sungai in the border town of Lunas, which is between the states of mainland Penang and Kedah. It is about 6 kilometers from the town of Kulim. and 15 kilometers from the Bukit Mertajam, Penang. The center is situated by the banks of the Kulim River. From the roundabout in Seberang Jaya, turn 3 o'clock into the Kulim Highway, in which one will come to 2 toll booths, 1 and 2. One pays 1 ringgit and 30 cents. After the second toll booth, proceed straight and turn left when reaching the crossroad. Proceed straight to the traffic lights in Lunas Town. At the crossroads, turn left. You will pass by the Huamin Chinese School, a Chinese temple, and a bridge. From this point, you will be able to see the Sima Hall building on your left. Buddhist Hermitage Lunas is just about 200 meters from the bridge. Welcome. Happy landing. Chapter 1, the early days. In 1985, an old friend of Venerable Suwano by the name of Miss Sun Chun Lian offered to look for a suitable location to build an alternative center for Bhante to rest and other fellow monks to recite and practice meditation. The site was found at a former sand mine about a kilometer from the town of Lunas. The groundbreaking ceremony was held on 12 March 1989. Miss Sun Chun Lian can also be regarded as the co-founder of Buddhist Hermitage Lunas. She was a close friend of Mr. Koo or Venerable Suwano during his working days, and later became sworn in as brother and sister, Ket Pai in Hokkien. During her earlier days, Miss Sun would be at the construction site every day to oversee the work. The construction of the main shrine in progress. The ladies' dormitory. The main shrine and the ladies' dormitory were designed by architect Mr. Goh Hok Guan and engineer Mr. Ku Kui Siang. The contractor was Mr. Yong Fo Seng. Mr. Goh Hok Guan is the nephew of Miss Sun. The piece of land was bought for 25,000 ringgit from another nephew, Mr. Goh Hok An. A pro-tem committee was formed in 1987, and the application to register Buddhist Hermitage Lunas was submitted and approved on 13 October 1988. The buildings are almost ready. The certificate of occupancy was issued in July 1990 after 15 months of construction. Visitors would come to the Hermitage for visits in the evenings, and Miss Sun would show them around. From time to time, Miss Sun would buy potted flower plants to place them around the Hermitage. When there is a shortage of raw or dried foodstuffs and groceries, the lady would get them in town, her personal dana. When performing a good deed, Miss Sun used to say to the committee members, "Ka lang cho, ka lang tan." Each of us will reap our own good deeds. The Buddha image in the main shrine was donated by Mr. Fu Mo Huat of Penang. The first event of Buddhist Hermitage Lunas was the honoring of departed loved ones during the month of the Hungry Ghost, followed by the robes offering ceremony for Venerable Suwano and 3 Thai monks in October. Left photo. Dana sessions were carried out in the main shrine hall before the opening ceremony, as the Dhamma Sala was still under construction. The early resident monks, Siador Agadama Senior and Siador Agadama Junior. The early days before the opening ceremony. Photos taken from the banks of the Kulim River. The opening ceremony, newspaper announcement from the Star, 1990. The ceremony on Christmas Day, guest of honor, Chief Reverend Dhammananda, officiated the ceremony by cutting the ribbon, while Syada U Pandita Bivamsa lighted the oil lamp. Venerable Pandit P. Pema Ratana of the Mahindarama Temple was also one of the VIP guest monks invited on the day. The events of the day included hoisting of flags by the chair lady Miss Soon, speeches, parita chanting, Sangika Dana, and lunch for devotees. Left photo, Venerable Suwano showing the guest monks around the Hermitage compound. Sangika Dana in the Dhamma Sala. The original wooden kutis. There were only 4 kutis during the opening ceremony day, and more were added later. A brick kuti was built later for Venerable Suwano beside the garage. Devotees and guests at the Hermitage during the opening ceremony day. Guests would come to Buddhist Hermitage Lunas to visit the new meditation center, and Bante Suwano would show them around the place. The first Vasa entry for the rainy season at Buddhist Hermitage Lunas, 1991. Venerable Suwano, Venerable Katapunya, Venerable Buddha Rakita, and the Samaneras. Venerable Suwano, Venerable Katapunya, and 2 Samaneras on arms round, walking to Lunas town. The first Katina ceremony, Venerable Suwano with guest monks in the newly built Sunday Dhamma classroom. Right photo. There will always be a large crowd listening to Venerable Suwano's talks. Patimokkha days. Since Buddhist Hermitage Lunas did not have a Sima hall yet in those early days, the monks would jointly gather with others from Mithosi and MBMC for their Patimokkha sessions in the Sima hall of MBMC Penang. Chapter 2, 10th anniversary. Just like the blink of an eye, the little baby has grown into a 10-year-old girl in the year 2000. The activities of the day included Pindachara, storytelling by the Dhamma class pupils, presentation of the biography of Venerable Suwano and the 10th anniversary magazine, speeches, and the Sangika Dana. Left photo. The group photo of the resident monks of Buddhist Hermitage Lunas. Right photo. The 2 old friend monks had a snapshot taken before Venerable Chief Reverend stepped into the car to leave the Hermitage. He put his hand on Venerable Suwano's head and blessed him in Hokkien with Sampo Po Pi Lu. Then he left. First anniversary souvenirs, 3,000 copies of the biography of Venerable Suwano, Striving to be a Nobody, Inward Path Publisher by Mr. Leong Yok Ki in 2000, and another 2,000 copies of the 10th anniversary magazine were printed for the occasion. Chapter 3, the passing away of the abbot. Venerable Suwano was in poor health in mid-2006 and was admitted into the Lam Hua E Hospital Penang on 31st December 2006 for poor appetite, purging, and phlegm. Devotees and members of the Bukit Mertajam Buddhist Meditation Center volunteered, taking turns to care for Bante. His ex-wife, Madam Janet, in Alberta, Canada, and eldest daughter, Madam Jenny, in England, were informed weeks in advance and were in Penang. Venerable Suwano passed away peacefully at the age of 86 at 6:30 a.m. on Sunday, 11 March 2007. 2 evening Dhamma talks were delivered by Venerable Siados, U Sunanda, and U Nanda Siddhi. Funeral day. The wake was held for 3 days at Buddhist Hermitage Lunas. Guest monks from various Buddhist centers in Kuala Lumpur, Selangor, Perak, Kedah, and Penang attended to pay their final respects to Venerable Suwano, Madam Janet, and the 2 daughters. The hearse left Buddhist Hermitage Lunas at 2 p.m. for cremation at the Bukit Mertajam Rapid Crematorium. Left, a postcard with Bante's last message, and right, a poster, both with Bante's handwriting, were printed for distribution during the wake and funeral. 14 March 2007, Monday. Bante's ashes were collected and 2 boats were hired to strew the remains into the Sea of Penang in the morning. Madam Janet and daughters were present. The biographies. English, printed in 2000. The Chinese version, printed in 2001 for Vesak distribution. And the Burmese version, written by Siador Jotika, printed in March 2011, 3,000 copies. In 1981, Venerable Sujiwo wrote an article, Uncle Brilliant Gold Leaves Home, for the World Fellowship of Buddhists Penang Center 30th Anniversary Celebration. Write an updated version of the English biography in 2010. A legacy he left behind. Venerable Suwano's personal handwritten Dhamma notes, which Bante used for his public talks, notably at the Penang Buddhist Association in the 1980s. 2 booklets by Venerable Suwano. Number 1, How a Theravada Buddhist Chinese Funeral May be Conducted, and 2, Moral Causation Law. Some sample CD covers of Venerable Suwano's Dhamma talks. Ten selected quotes of Venerable Suwano. Quote 1. Striving to be a nobody was written on the morning of 27 April 1981 at the Mahasi Meditation Center, Yangon. He had the inspiration and the idea flowed smoothly, and Bante wrote it on a chalkboard. Quote 2. Thun Lun Etan Kim Tun. Tolerance will bear great profit or benefit. The saying on tolerance can be found in the top 31 planes of existence. Quote 3. Tham sim holang liak lai cho tiam sim. A greedy person will end up a victim or a loser. Bante mentioned the saying on greed also in the top 31 planes of existence. Quote 4. For earning more, in Bante's own words, the Venerable said, Tan ka che, go ai lak holang ka che. To some devotees, there is a slight confusion as the Buddha taught to develop contentment in life, and yet teaching others to acquire wealth. The Buddha taught the Dhamma to practice contentment for his members of the Sangha, while to the lay people, the Buddha spoke about being hardworking and to gain wealth. You can kindly refer to the Mangala Sutta, a discourse on 38 blessings. Code 5. Mua chok sim si kwai lok, sim cheng ping an. Contentment brings happiness, peace, and blessings. Code 6. Everything is only on loan to us, Bante said. Kaliao si Chiok yong nia, bo chi hang si kwai na. So train your mind now to let go of the people and things that you fear to lose. Code 7. Bante said in Hokkien on ignorance, gong gong lai, gong gong cho, si liao gong gong chi. Through ignorance I came, through ignorance I do, through ignorance I will go. Code 8. Referring to the Eightfold Path on right speech, Bante said, always use sweet and beneficial, pleasant words. Code 9. The discourse on the sand on the tip of the fingernail can be found in the talk Doing Good. The Buddha pointed out that those who are interested in performing good deeds are just like the little grain of sand at the tip of his finger, and those who are engaging in bad deeds are just like the sand on the ground. Very few can be reborn among human beings or devas. Code 10. As for the old Hokkien rhyme, it is about etiquette for a daughter-in-law building a good relationship in the husband's family. Tegaki chawaji, 做人的媳婦會不道理，啱啱困，喳喳起，起來蛇頭鑊款點人知，入房來夾針子，接走卡蛇換肚，俄羅兄俄羅弟，俄羅嘅請唔教家事。It talks about getting up early and the last to go to bed. When she gets up, she has to maintain her looks, be proficient in needlework, be hardworking, be able to do household chores, pleasant speech, and friendly, to be a loving daughter-in-law. One can listen to Bante reciting the rhyme in Visakha at the end of talk 3, and also in another talk, he who harms the innocent will suffer 10 evils. Chapter 4. Buildings and Structures. The arch was the last structure to be built at Buddhist Hermitage Lunas. Venerable Siados, U Chandima and U Sunanda chanted suttas for blessing, and Miss Sun Chunlian and Sis Kor Lek Ai, the previous honorary secretary, laid the foundation bricks. The arch of the Buddhist Hermitage Lunas is a replica of the arch entrance of the Mahasi Meditation Center. The Dhamma Sala. Construction began in September 1990 and completed in time for the opening ceremony in December of the year. The Pali word bhojana means food or meal, and sala means a hall. Inside the bhojana sala, one is able to see wall murals painted by Venerable Achan Sunip in 1992. These are the 4. And Mr. Rohana Idris Singha in 1993. He's a singhalist. And these are the murals. The reclining Buddha was offered by Burmese devotees on 15 October 2006. Books to enhance one's knowledge of the Dhamma. Do not be merely a Buddhist, but to be an educated Buddhist. During the year end, Venerable Suwano used to remind the devotees to reflect personally on how good a Buddhist are they in their practice and knowledge. The small stream from the cemetery opposite the Hermitage flows through the compound of Buddhist Hermitage Lunas into the Kulim River. Venerable Suwano said that the sound of the gushing water of the stream provides tranquility to the mind. The White Bridge of Buddhist Hermitage Lunas. Since Buddhist Hermitage Lunas is near a secondary jungle, it has its share of wildlife of various species of birds, monitor lizards, snakes, and monkeys. We are coming to the Venerable Suwano Memorial Building on the right and the main shrine in front. The Venerable Suwano Memorial Building was declared open a year later on 11 March 2008 after a year of the passing away of the abbot. The ground floor. The first floor. Exhibits include books, newspaper cuttings, articles, photos, CDs, handwritten notes, and the personal belongings of the abbot. The 8 personal requisites of a monk, utter parikara. The footprints of Venerable Suwano. The ladies' dormitory is one of the 2 earliest buildings of the Hermitage. It has 7 rooms on the ground floor, as well as the first floor. The Varada Abhaya Buddha image was originally sculpted for the Sima Hall by Mr. Heng Yao Lin of Kulim. It stands at 9 feet or 2.74 meters. The meditation building will be converted to a reading room soon. The iconic first building of the Hermitage, the main shrine hall with the arch. The first Buddha image was donated by Mr. Fumohat of Penang. The current second Buddha image was donated by Mr. Riwata Gan of Singapore. Wall murals painted by Mr. Rohana Idiri Singha of Sri Lanka, showing the 2 chief bhikkhunis, Arahats Venerable Khema and Venerable Upalavana. The main shrine in the evening. The walking meditation path was built in honor of Venerable Siador for his noble Dhamma Dutta in disseminating the Dhamma at the Hermitage. The walking meditation path was later converted into a walled building for the safety of yogis meditating in the evenings. Currently, there are 7 kutis and a quarters, with another 7 rooms for male yogis built in 2012. The Sima Hall. There were 4 ceremonies conducted for the Sima: the groundbreaking ceremony, the Sima demarcation, the Sima consecration, and the opening ceremony. Venerable Suwano is of the opinion that a meditation center is incomplete without a Sima hall, where the monks are able to conduct important ceremonies at the center. As a result, the Sima hall came into being. Venerable Suwano and members came to see the progress of the Sima. The Sima was named the Varada Abhaya Suvanno Sima. The opening ceremony day on 25th December 2005. The current Buddha image in the Sima was brought from Myanmar, and the consecration chanting was held on Vesak Day, 19 May 2008. Two samples of the souvenir fans with a saying, "If I accept the sunshine and warmth, I must also accept the thunder and lightning." There's something to do with the Four Noble Truths. Chapter 5, Activities. Children offering rice into the alms bowls before the COVID-19 pandemic. Devotees queuing up to offer rice, dishes, desserts, and drinks to the Venerable monks during the daily dana session at 11 a.m. Venerable monks helping themselves buffet style during the COVID-19 movement control order. Right photo, 8 precept observers having their lunch. A devoted Buddhist, Mr. A.L. Liew, has been helping to translate the Sunday Dhamma talks from English to the Hokkien dialect since the 1990s. Whatever you are learning now, do not leave it in this hall. Take it back with you. Daily group meditation in the main shrine hall in the mornings and afternoons. An alternate hour of sitting and walking meditation in progress. We have yogis from many foreign countries. We will have a red carpet for special yogis, and we are still waiting for them from the Arctic and Antarctica. Anyone out there who is able to convince someone from those regions surely does a great service to the Buddha Sasana. Patimokkha sessions. Myanmaris come to the Hermitage for the annual ordination as monks and novices during the Chinese New Year. Venerable Suwano Anniversary Memorial Day is normally held on the nearest Sunday to 11 March every year. Devotees are welcome to present their eulogies on the day. Devotees paying respect to the late abbot with a bouquet of flowers to signify impermanence on the Venerable Suvanno Memorial Day. Blood donation campaign. The campaign is organized with the cooperation of the Kulim District Hospital. The first blood donation was conducted on 30th May 1999 in conjunction with Vesak Day. The act of donating blood is regarded as performing Jivita Dana. Jivita means lifespan. Vesak, an important annual celebration at all Buddhist centers. Activities at Buddhist Hermitage Lunas on Vesak Day. Another annual ceremony before the Katina, the Vasa entry, is normally held on the full moon day of July, known as the Asalha Puja Day. Pindachara sessions are organized in the compound of the Hermitage and other places such as Bukit Mertajam, Kulim, Butterworth, Padang Rai, and Chiling Park on Saturdays. The events of the Katina ceremony include the morning procession round the compound, offerings of robes and requisites, Dhamma talks, and the Sangika Dana. Ms. Sun Chunlian continued to serve as the chairlady of Buddhist Hermitage Lunas until 2014 due to her old age of 94. She passed away peacefully on 11 February 2021 last year on the eve of Chinese New Year at the ripe old age of 101. The Pavarana ceremony is conducted in the Sima Hall to decide on which venerable monk who has completed the rains retreat successfully to deserve receiving the Katina robe. Buddhist literature and CDs for free distribution on Katina Day. In the earlier days, car stickers were also distributed. Food Charity Day started in 2001. Photos showing packet rice and bottled drinks for the people of Permatang Tinggi, Seberang Perai. Charity program began in 2017 outside the Bojana Sala, dried foodstuffs and groceries plus ang pao spread packets for the poor people of Lunas. These health services are normally held either on Vesak Day or the charity program day. The barbers or hairstylists also join the doctors on the same occasion. Eric Hoffer says, the pleasure we derive from doing favors is partly in the feeling it gives us that we are not altogether worthless. The Hermitage Cleanup Day is carried out when the need arises, especially during the year-end rainy season when the Kulim River is in a very, very bad mood and starts to create havoc for the center. I'm referring to the occasional floods here. The first flood attacked Buddhist Hermitage Lunas early in the morning, about 1 or 2 a.m. on 14 September 1995, with the water level at 1 meter. It has been going on and on, the last flood being on Vesak Day in 2018. Just like Ku Eng Kim, Buddhist Hermitage Lunas also experiences dukkha. That is why Venerable Suwano says, Bo Chao Siya, I'll die if I don't escape. Devotees and volunteered members of the Lunas Fire Brigade also contributed their time and energy to help clean up the mud and debris around the compound. English classes and Hokkien language classes are also arranged for the Siados on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday this year. Sometimes, at the end of the Sunday Dhamma talks, the Siados would wish the devotees in the Hokkien dialect, Holu Ping An, Holu Kwai Lok, Tiao Chut, Ko Hai. Past programs. Number 1. Buddhist Hermitage Lunas has organized 3 novitiate programs for boys which lasted for a week in 2001, 2002, and 2003. 2. During Chinese New Year, the Sunday Dhamma class pupils, accompanied by the teachers, visited the homes of devotees for chanting and hymn singing. 3. Paying respect to parents was normally held on the second day of Chinese New Year in the Bojana Sala. It was held in 2001 for the first time until 2012. The children will bow 3 times, give a handshake and a hug to their parents. Some mothers even shed tears for the first time when their children bowed to them. Other past activities included the adult Dhamma discussion on Sunday afternoons and the Pali language classes conducted by qualified teachers in 1995 and 2004. The committee also joined hands with the Dhamma class teachers to run weekend youth camps and visits for the pupils. Chapter 6, Resident and Guest Monks. The first resident monk helping out at Buddhist Hermitage Lunas was Venerable Katapunya Tero, 1991 to 1997. Born as Kwe Teng Bun in 1957, Air Tawa Setiawan, Perak. Bante was ordained in Padang Sera, Kedah in 1978 under the Thai tradition. His ordained name, Katapunya, means one who has done merits in the past. In 1987, Bante traveled to Sri Lanka for another Upasampada, higher ordination, and he stayed in that country for 10 years. Bante is currently the abbot of the American International Buddhist Community in Texas, USA. Venerable Siador Agadama, 1992 to 2000. Venerable Siador U Agadama Jr., 1992 to 1996. Venerable Kondanya, Mr. Law Ajan from Terengganu, was a Samanera, novice monk at the Hermitage in 1994. He received his bhikkhu ordination a year later on 10th July 1995. Venerable Siador Subana, 1998 to 2003. Siador Sunanda, 2004 to 2012, was a very dedicated and approachable teacher. Bante first visited Buddhist Hermitage Lunas in 1998, accompanying a senior meditation teacher acting as a translator during a retreat here. Born in September 1993, the Siador was formerly a medical doctor specialized in dermatology and venereology. Dr. U Tan Naung joined the Order of the Sangha in 1995 and was given the name Sunanda, which means a delightful son. Venerable Siador U Jotika, 2008-2016, and Venerable Siador U Panyasara, 2012-2018. Venerable Siador U Chando Basa, 2015-2019. Siador U Ravinda is presently the resident teacher of Buddhist Hermitage Lunas with 25 Basa. Siale Utara is from the state of Johor and has been helping out here since 2004. As for our first guest monk, Siador U Pandita Bivamsa is a highly respected meditation teacher. Bante was here in 1990, 1991, and 2003. Venerable Ayya Keminda was a Dutch from the Parakudua Nuns Island, Sri Lanka. The Venerable was at Buddhist Hermitage Lunas in April 1992 and stayed for a few months. During her days here, she wrote her second booklet, Word Power. Ayya is a Pali word which can be translated as venerable or honorable. The most venerable Siador U Kundala Vivamsa is also a highly revered meditation monk from the Sadama Ransi Meditation Center. The Siador made 3 visits to conduct meditation retreats at the Hermitage, 1997, 2002, and 2004. Venerable Panyavaro of Sydney, Australia, was with us from 9 to 13 December 1998. Siador U Silananda from the Dhammananda Vihara, California, USA, conducted a 10-day Abhidhamma course in 1999. A total of 96 participants joined the event. Resident Siale Dhammadina was the translator. Meditation teachers, Venerable Siadors U Janaka Vivamsa and U Asoka, visited Venerable Suwano in the early year of 2000. Venerable S. Dhammika was also here and delivered an evening talk entitled Joy in Your Practice. Bhante is well known for his booklet, Good Question, Good Answer. Mr. Pohanka Martin was a teacher in Slovakia and ordained as a Samanera at Buddhist Hermitage Lunas in 2004. Later, he received his higher ordination from Siador U Chandima here in 2007. Bhante had another higher ordination in Thailand and is presently known as Venerable Santikaro. Japanese monk Venerable Utamo is from Yokohama. Bhante resided at the Hermitage from 2014 to 2019. Siador U Jatila was invited to visit the Hermitage to guide the 8 precept holders in 2014. Friends from the Bodhi Heart Sanctuary Penang also visited the Hermitage. This Venerable was at Buddhist Hermitage Lunas in 2018 and stayed for a few months here. Siadors U Panyananda and U Vichakana joined our resident teacher U Ravinda in 2019 during the 3-month Vasa. Venerable Raja was also here to conduct a meditation retreat in 2019. Chapter 7, 25th Anniversary. How time flies. The simile of the 10-year-old girl has turned into a young lady of 25 in 2015. Another birthday celebration for her. Ex-resident monk Venerable Siador U Sumana was given the honor to cut the birthday cake. The members of the Sangha assembled at the Bodhi tree for a ritual to bathe the baby Bodhisattva and after that to chant for the blessings of all present. A coloring contest was held for children in the morning besides the usual Sangika Dana for lunch. A mug to commemorate the 15th birthday of Buddhist Hermitage Lunas in 2015. Buddhist Hermitage Lunas is 32 years old this year. It takes at least an hour to walk and see around the Hermitage. To conclude this story of Buddhist Hermitage Lunas, we have prepared a short 8-minute video tour of this place. The gate of Buddhist Hermitage Lunas opens at 6:30 a.m. every morning and closes at 12:30 p.m. So let us begin. We have come to the arch entrance of Buddhist Hermitage Lunas. The center teaches Vipassana meditation. The Sima Hall. The first bridge. The Venerable Suwano Memorial Building. The Varada Abhaya Buddha Building. The ladies' dormitory. The ground floor, 7 rooms. The first floor, 7 rooms, totaling 14 rooms. The main shrine hall. The arch facing the Kulim River, the veranda of the main shrine hall, the interior of the main shrine hall. The mural paintings were done by Mr. Rohana Idrisingha of Sri Lanka in 1993. The kuti of resident monk Siador Ravinda, the Venerable Sunanda walking meditation path, the ladies' dormitory, the original kuti of Venerable Suwano in 1980s. It looks a little old. We are trying to repair. That's the memorial building of Venerable Suwano. This is the interior of the building, first floor. The bust of Venerable Suwano, made of styrofoam and plaster clay, paper clay, sorry. Bhante Suwano's alms bowl, Bhante's robes, a short biography of Venerable Suwano, his signatures, Mr. Kueng Kim, the family man, a color pencil portrait, Dhamma books belonging to the late Venerable Suwano, newspaper cuttings during the big funeral of the late Venerable abbot, Siale Utara clearing the compound. We are now walking to the Bojana Sala, the first bridge. The office and the reading room. The second white bridge, the Kulim River. The reclining Buddha in the Bojana Sala, the Sunday Dhamma talk with a Hokkien translation. The Sunday Dana, helpers preparing food, devotees on Sundays. We have a guest monk from Hong Kong. Helpers preparing packed food. The area for the male yogis. The kutis, the laundry shed for male yogis to do their laundry, the male quarters, the kutis, the former Sunday Dhamma class building, more kutis, the Sima Hall, the Sima Stone, the interior of the Sima Hall, we have come to the end of this presentation this evening. Two last messages for viewers. Message number 1, 4 conditions which are hard to attain. To be born a human being, to lead a long life, to listen to the Dhamma, to be in the presence of the Buddha Sasana. Why doing good? We certainly do not know how much evil or good deeds we have done in our past lives. We are born in a human form, manusa, so it is an advantage to do good, to replenish our good karma, which are our provisions for our present as well as future lives. We are able to see our material wealth, cash, properties, etc., but not our spiritual wealth, which refers to our good karma. So let us do something worthwhile now before we miss the boat. May all viewers of this presentation this evening be blessed with good health, good life, good karma. Sukhi Hotu. Good night, everyone. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.